Welcome to Magnet Marketers, our weekly live show where we break down the head, heart, and hand approach to building sustainable growth in your business. During each episode, we share actual client marketing best practice examples, strategies, and tactics that will help you generate real results. Our belief? A magnet always works better than being a bullhorn to attract, retain, and build your brand. Ready to dive into this week's Relationship Marketing Training Tuesday? Well, let's get started. Here's your host, Mike Gingerich and Jessika Phillips. Hello, and welcome to this week at Training Tuesday Live for Magnet Marketers. Our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. And today we're here to talk about the future. Entering in, actually not really the future, today, entering into Web3 with confidence though, and how to build relationships online today as the technology changes and evolves. And we have the perfect guest with us to do that. But before we introduce him, hello. If I've not met you before, my name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group, the relationship marketing system. And my personal mission is to help you love more, give more, and be more through the art of authentic relating. And my awesome co-host, it's Mike Gingerich. And Mike manages 3 blogs online while running, biking, swimming, and traveling. Yeah, that's Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing well, and super excited today. Good to have a friend join us back and to talk about the latest and greatest. So it's always a good day when we can get together like this.
Always.
All right. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest today. He is Jordache Johnson, who's an international speaker, digital growth strategist, and business consultant, specializing in heart-centered entrepreneurs and experts to help them scale their impact, business, and wealth. He does that with a systemized approach to creating human connection, building authentic relationships, and turning them into friends using his signature framework called the Friends Method. So we want to welcome Jordache in, and we want to dive in today and kind of go deep into what is and what's going to be and all these pieces. So welcome, Jordache.
Thank you so much. First off, Mike, I hear your introduction. I'm like, man, I feel like I need to pick up some more hobbies over here. But no, I appreciate you guys. I'm excited to be here.
Feel like slackers, right?
I know. I'm like, man, like step your game up, Jordache. But it's awesome.
No. I love it. But first of all, before we dive into this, can we just all take a moment to say why we have Jordache on? Not only is he brilliant and he has this heart-centered visionary approach, perfectly aligned with us and our mission here, but he's matching the backgrounds. I mean, this is all aligned for this moment right here, guys. But I promise you, he's spoken at Social Media Week Lima 2022. I'm hoping, let's all put some pressure on Jordache to come back this next year for 2023, because this man is brilliant. He knows his stuff. And not only is he a visionary with knowing what's coming in the future, but doing so with heart, which is so important. And so I'm so thankful that you took some time out of your busy schedule to be here with us, Jordache. We're excited for what you're going to share with everybody today.
No, I'm excited, and yeah, there's a good chance I'll be there in June. I think it's on my birthday, actually. So, well, what's up, George? I see you down there.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this is awesome. I'm excited. We're gonna have some good conversation today.
Hey, and I got to say thanks for taking this little window of time, between where you were and before you head to London for NFT London. So sliding us in, we appreciate that, man. Taking the time.
You guys are 2 of my favorite humans. I always got time for you guys. So it's
All right.
That's the name of the game is we always prioritize what we need to prioritize. That's how time works.
All right. Speaking of priorities then, and when we talk about business, we always talk about relationships in business, and how we want to be a magnet, not a bullhorn, and so within that, I mean, business principles, that type of relationship centered principle is something that doesn't change over time. No. However, in business processes, the business environment changes, right? I mean, you talk about Web 1, Web 2, where as social media, where you can publish and people can comment and those type of things, and Web 3. So you've been involved in all those with the business processes. I mean, what's happening? What's current, I guess, in the business environment for processes, and what do you see beginning to move towards?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, let me take a step back. It's and I want to hone in on something really important, because when we're talking about principles, legitimately, they do not change, right? But like you said, technologies change, platforms change, things change. So we have to learn how to adapt those principles. But the underlying principle doesn't change, right? And there is, I joke around, the OG, right? Dale Carnegie, How to Influence Friends and How to Influence People and Win Friends. 1934, y'all. And we're still
must-read book, by the way. Must-read book. Yeah.
Must-read book. If you're not sure, you have to. You're as a professional, you have to. But the thing is, we're talking about the same stuff today when we're talking about building relationships, right? When he talks about use people's first names, we still use people's first names. Now, we're not going to, we may not be looking people up in the yellow pages like, or before, that was even before phones, but looking people walking down the horse and buggy type of thing, or the Henry Ford cars. But right now we have what you were talking about in Web 2, social media blessed us with the opportunity to be able to start connecting with millions and billions of people from the generation of our home, right? From the place of our home, from our computer, from our devices, right? So that was a big evolution, because you think about when Web 1, when the internet kind of came mainstream in the early or mid 90s, 95, 96, 97 timeframe, that was AOL, that was Netscape, that was the time, like you were talking about, the static websites. I remember when I was at my aunt's house, when we didn't have internet, we go there, and I remember just looking at Coca-Cola's webpage. It was like the coolest thing ever, because we've never seen anything like that. Sorry about that real quick. I forgot to set my phone on airplane mode. But that was very static, right? And then we moved to Web 2. Now we're going to be able to connect with people and have conversations with people and be able to meet people like we've met before we even met in person, right? It happens all the time, but we take it for granted. But if you actually zoom out and take a second to look, guys, this is since 2005, 2006 timeframe. 15 years ago, we didn't have the ability to do that, right? But it's so ingrained to us, it feels like it's been forever. And now we're moving into this phase of Web 3, where if you're looking at Web 2, that was more information centric. That was more that we're in the info product space. People are sharing information. We're consuming information. Now, as we start moving into this Web 3 world, it's going to be more user-centric based, where users are going to start being able to participate in the economy. They're going to be able to participate in your business and how you're growing and scaling. So it's going to become even more important to be able to build those right relationships in Web 3 when we're talking about the full kind of relationship universe, which is inside your business. Well, really, as an entrepreneur, it starts with yourself. Entrepreneurship is a personal development game, 100% one-on-one, but then it's moving out to your team, then it's moving out to your customers, then it's moving out to your audience, then moving out to co-creators, collaborators, partners. All this whole universe, you have to learn how to build effective relationships and leverage them and build them. Jessika, me, you are on the same page with this. It's human connection based. I'm not looking at it from a transaction. I'm not looking at people as zeros and ones, but everybody is a human. So how do I connect with the human? And then we'll see what the opportunities lie. So Web3 is just going to pour gasoline on the importance of relationship building, which goes back to 1934 principle. It's a new way to do it now.
I freaking love that. I love saying like Web 1 was like read only. You can find information, right? It's just one way. It's like books, right? Web 2 is read and respond, right? So it's like a blog. Now you read it and you can react to it. And now Web 3 is read, write, co-create. So now I can take that information, respond in a way that adds more to it as a consumer. So as a brand, you must have that foundation there with people that may not ever buy from you, but they could co-create with you, right? They could say, oh, I love this so much that I want to give you this because this meant something to me. So now I'm going to create an image to attach. Let's just use the blog analogy, a story, and say, I want to give you this image to, visualize what you were trying to explain because it meant something to me. So I have this sense of belonging, and I may never buy from you ever at all, but I'm belonging with you and I resonate with what you're here to stand for and what you're here to do. So I'm adding to the brand. And now this means that if you don't have that foundation, right, like you're saying, we're all saying that foundation, right, of having that core center of what we believe and how we're trying to show up, people are going to respond, and you have to make sure that what you've laid the foundation of, it has that heart and continues on that personality of the sense of belonging to attract more people in, hence the, like what we talk about here, being a magnet versus a bullhorn, to magnetize what you're trying to create and allow people to kind of take it from there. So as it relates to how brands can build relationships, regardless of the technology, like you said, it doesn't matter where you're showing up, but how you're showing up, right? How do they take this though, and knowing, okay, I need this foundation regardless. It's gonna go on without me, whether I participate or not. But how can I show up in the right way, knowing belonging is the key, showing up with heart, building relationships, while also being aware of what's to come? Like, what's that next step for brands?
100%. So I love what you said. I'm gonna touch on one thing real quick that I think is gonna be very important around one of the big changes happening in the Web3 environment, and it's gonna tie back into exactly what you just asked. Is it's going to be so much more important for us to be able to build effective communities and the people in them. Because here's the thing you got to remember. When we're moving into this Web3 decentralized environment, and to be completely fair, nothing is ever going to be fully decentralized, anonymous. That's anarchy. Like, anybody that says that don't believe them, right? But there's going to be decentralized parts of this space that we're going to be playing in. But one of the most important things is users and your consumers are going to have so much more control of the data and the privacy that if you do not have a good relationship with them, you're not going to get access to them. They're not going to participate in your community. And if they do not participate, you're not going to be in business very long. And so one of the things that you got to remember, though, is the beautiful thing about this is in Web3 is right now in this Web2 environment that we're all used to running our digital business, our businesses online, or digital businesses, etc., is really we cannot reward our customers or our raving fans nearly as effective as we can. We can give them discounts, we can give them free gifts or free content here and there, etc. But now in this Web3 environment, when we use this word tokenization and tokenomics, we're going to actually be able to reward our raving fans. We're going to be able to reward the people that helped us create what we're creating and be a part of this, where they're going to actually have incentive and skin in the game in our building. For example, now I'll just give you a unique example. If you're a music artist, right, this has nothing to do with entrepreneurship, but this is why Web3 is going to touch almost every business model and industry out there. You can actually support, if I'm a musician and I'm going to come out with a new album, I don't have to worry about going through a label. I don't have to worry about trying to get a deal. I can build a solid community that wants to support me, that then eventually the people that early supported me, they're going to get royalties from my future music automatically without anybody even interacting with that. That's an easy way to be able to support somebody early on and reward your people. The people that you're going to get being able to support you early on in your business, or if you're beta launching an offer or whatever, they can get access to future sales or whatever benefit you want to provide to them to reward them automatically without anybody coming in between that and them with this technology that's going to be happening in the blockchain, or in Web3. And so that is the power of now we can take our raving fans, our communities that we're building, the people that were with us early on as we're building, we can allow them to be rewarded that they helped us build this success. And that's why it's going to be super important that you learn how to build strong relationships, because if I could help the person that helped me get my first customer and reward them, you best believe it, I'm going to be able to support them. We launched a beta membership not too long ago. And I told them, I was like, guys, you guys are my OG founders. You best believe I'm going to take care of you guys as we're building out this community, right? And that's just, if you do that over and over again, the people are going to follow you. So that's what I just want to make sure that that is a big shift that's happening, where it's not just information based. It is, we're going to reward the people
too. I want to give just a couple stats that say like icing on the cake of what you just shared. Okay, guys, because this was part of the opening keynote of Social Media Week Lima 2022 when we were talking about entering the metaverse, and we called it the co-create commerce, and just succinctly saying what Jordache is sharing is so relevant and true. Just to put things in perspective here, Travis Scott held a 9-minute concert in Fortnite with his avatar, and it was attended by 12 million people and earned $20 million.
Crazy.
Think about that for a minute.
Crazy.
9 minutes.
9-minute concert 12 million people. Have we ever been to a concert with 12 million people? No. With $20 million earned, 9-minute concert with his avatar. He may have been in his pajamas, sitting in his living room, eating ramen noodles. We don't know. But like he held this concert. But not only that, a couple of things to put it in perspective outside of just like the music industry. One, a couple other stats that like blew my mind that really put this in perspective to me was like people have a stronger relationship with brands, 62% stronger relationship with brands that have a stronger digital presence today. And that being said, what you were saying with like rewarding your most loyal fans, because this is where the shift is happening. It's that before in marketing and business, we're focused on getting new business by people that have never heard of us. And now we need to focus on getting new business and repeat referral business by people that have already done business with us, loved us, liked us, want to refer us to others, because they're going to be talking in these channels and hopefully we get invited into it. But an example of this I love that I think all of us can understand is Wendy's. They did like what they built what's called the Wendy's verse, where you can go hang out in the Wendy's verse, have a virtual Frosty and shoot some Baconators and this like hoops with your friends. They're not selling anything in there, but it gives you a space to hang out, enjoy some time with some friends. But while you're there, you can find some hidden tokens to get coupons or redeem for some Wendy's products and things that are exclusive to you. Right? This is the key. Like this is the key. Rewarding people that already love you and are doing business with you and empowering them to do more is the key that I'm hearing you say and what's being supported.
164%. That's and you're 100% right. And one of the things that, I've been talking a lot about Web3 over the last few months and NFTs and metaverses with a lot of people. And some people are excited. Some people are like, I'm not worried about that. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, guys, like you don't need, like, if you don't want to pay attention, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, pay attention to where the money's flowing. $27 billion were invested by VC firms last year in this space. Most money ever invested by VC firms in a year, right? Look at the big brands that they could care less if we're in a recession and what the inflation is, what the value of Bitcoin is. They don't care because they understand this is where we're trending. And so when you understand these guys are spending a lot of millions and billions of dollars, you best believe as an entrepreneur, it is going to impact your business in the next 2 to 5 years. And the people that are prepared for this, it's just like the people who were ready, who jumped on YouTube in 2005, 2006, they're the ones that are going to thrive, right? And now when we're talking about building relationships and understanding how to connect with people, you're going to thrive a lot faster if you're already set up, but you also have an understanding. But I tell people all the time, it's just like, you don't need to know how the internet works in today's world. I just know when I open my computer, it connects. You don't need to know what a blockchain does underneath the hood. You just need to understand the value of what it's going to do for the business and the business model that you're working in, or what the metaverse is going to be, et cetera. And so that's where it's like, don't stick your head in the sand and avoid this stuff, because it will catch up with you. And just also know it's already being built around you, whether you see it or not. You've probably interacted with an NFT or a blockchain technology. You just didn't even realize you were. And so that's where it's going to become more mainstream. But just know it is coming. And one thing I always, whenever I talk, I'm just going to put this out here, especially since we're on LinkedIn right now. Whatever Meta/Facebook says, they are not the only metaverse out there. They do not own there's more than one metaverse. Okay,
there we go.
Out there.
Thank you.
Do not let stuff grab that mind share from you. Just know there's going to be multiple metaverses, and there's a lot of building happening in this space, but it's beyond Facebook /Meta when they change their name. So I just want to put my friendly PSA out there.
That's what we talk about, dark social. I'm like, it's not the dark web. It's completely different. I promise you.
Right.
Like,
right.
Completely different. No, that's good. That's good. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
No. I just I just see, like, so from a business perspective now, so we got some audience members. They're sitting here thinking, okay. Now what's a next step? What's a first step? I don't know, that type of thing. So what do you say to them who are asking that question now? Great
question. Do exactly what you're doing right now. Put yourself in situations where you feel uncomfortable, where people are talking about this. That is the first step that you just need to get very comfortable with getting uncomfortable right now. Because the thing is, I onboard people all the time in this space and in the communities that we're building. And I tell people, for the first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whoever knows how many times you're going to hear this stuff, you're going to be like, I have zero clue what any of the stuff gibberish is right now. But I promise you, if you just continue to lean in, if you continue to have confidence to ask questions, no matter, quote unquote, how dumb they may be, whatever it is, at some point, it's going to be like, oh, this makes sense. Oh my goodness. It's that light bulb moment. I see it happen all the time. So immerse yourself in situations. People are talking about this on social. I would encourage you to join Twitter. A lot of conversations happen on Twitter. I had to dust off my Twitter from 2009 in the last year and a half, and to be able to, because this is where a lot of the conversations happen in this space. Twitter Spaces is happening similar to Clubhouse. Jump in those rooms, listen to what's going on. But it's just with everything. Be careful where you're getting information from. Some people don't know what the heck they're talking about. Anybody that tells you they're a guru in this space, run as fast as possible, because we're all still learning. It's still changing. It's a ball of clay. But outside of that, the other thing I would recommend is there's a lot more events happening in this space. I was just at an event last week called the Crypto Business Conference, right? Go to these events. Go to an event like Social Media Week, right? They have speakers coming to talk about this stuff. So immerse yourself in this is step number one. Step number two is, and this is from one of our mutual friends, Brian Fanzel. This is advice he told me early on as I got there. He's like, you need to start being a participant in this space. So if you're in the NFT space, start looking at and maybe buying an NFT. We won't go down that whole rabbit hole right now, but start participating to see how is it like as a consumer with Web3 businesses or NFT collection businesses that are running, how to start experiencing what that technology is and what the things that are happening right now. And then pretty soon you can start understanding to have empathy for your consumers, what that's going to be. And then it's going to be able to help you translate to that. So I will tell you, those would be the first two things I would say. Now, when it comes to actionable steps to start thinking about how your business could potentially start positioning itself or start potentially start bringing some of your customers into the space, I always tell you, number one, make sure you have an audience already. So if you don't have a not a big audience, if you don't have an engaged audience, do not even worry about building anything in this space yet, right? Because you want to make sure you have a good following, a good audience. But number two, start looking at your products, your offers. And the easiest way to start thinking about is how could you create some unique experiences or access for some of your VIP customers that may or may not be accessible today. For example, I'll give you Gary Vee as an example. We're all probably familiar with Gary Vee. He has an NFT, which is kind of, think of NFTs. I always explain it, just think of it as a membership card. That's all you need to worry about right now. But there's a finite amount of these cards. Right now, he has an NFT coming out where the only way you get reservations to a restaurant he's a partner in, you have to own the NFT, right? That's the only way you get that. The only way you can go to his conference is to own one of his NFTs. So it's creating exclusive access for these opportunities. And you can do that right now. If you have a digital product, if you have a course, you have a program, how can I give a VIP experience where only a select few of my people? You don't need to worry about blockchain technology, NFTs, or whatever. Just start thinking about what are some of those experiences that you can start creating, and then eventually you'll be able to leverage this technology to actually make it even more effective. So those would be the top three things I would tell people to start thinking about: is think about experiences, start engaging in uncomfortable situations, and start looking at events that you can start attending and listening to people and just start asking questions. Like, I'm going to tell you at the end of this, I'll tell you where you can find me. Do not hesitate to send me a DM and ask me a question about this stuff. I'm more than happy. And most of the people in the space are more than happy to answer questions, because we get excited when more people are excited about this new thing. Because the more people we get in here quicker, the faster the adoption is going to happen. So it's an amazing environment to be in right now. But the only thing I would recommend is do not put your head in the sand. You got to there's just going to be this uncomfortable period where you feel like you don't know anything, and the stuff is, and you're like, you don't know anything in this space. But I promise you, eventually you're going to come over that hump and you're going to be like, holy smokes, I get it. This is exciting. I see how a potential path forward with this stuff. And it's just it comes down to exposure at this stage.
But what is it called? The Duggar effect, or I forget, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Right.
But yeah, you have to participate. But to many questions that are happening in the comments here, yes, get a recap of this. We're going to have a link to Jordache's his information, how to contact him, everything. Type the word recap in the comments here, and it will generate a response to be sent to you in your messenger, so you can be sent the recap of this, as well as links to get in touch with Jordache. But everything, like he said, one of the things we talked about even at the conference, and Jordache is brilliant with what he just said, is like get involved natively, start attending events where people are talking about it. Also, like get a headset of VR or test things out natively and be like a new user trying it out. Like I tell you, in 2020, I got VR headset and I was doing putt-putt golf in VR. I was attending Renfests in VR and it was great. Yeah, check it out. Look how good he looks in that, guys. Yeah, put it on and experience things like
It is amazing.
your customer would and what is available right now and how they're showing up. We're not telling you to invest in building out your own virtual space right now, but we are telling you to try things out and be ready because it's going to give you ideas. Because too, take what's happening in the real world and see how you can bring it in online. Write out your user experience and see, hey, where could I add some delight? Where can I remove some friction and streamline some things for people, right? And create a virtual goods or ways of rewarding people. And then look at how to continue evolving this. But again, like Jordache said at the very beginning, we're not asking you to be experts on VR and metaverse, not Meta, Facebook, metaverse, and all that's changing in Web3, but it really is being an expert on your customers and how to add delight and build in better experiences. And that's where you can learn from adaptation, learning from others that have tried things out and what they've been doing. And this will give you ideas of learning what your clients want, how you can show up in a bigger way and partner with people that know what they're doing. So
100%.
Man, 30 minutes flies fast. Jordache, where can people connect with you, though, if they don't even want to wait till tomorrow when the blog publishes and they're like, I need to talk to this guy now? Where should they reach?
So if you guys have any questions, do not feel bad to slide into my Instagram DMs. Feel free to hit me up in there. Send me a note, send me a question, etc. The other thing, too, is I'm just going to throw this out here. So the community that we built, and then we just launched in the last month and a half, is called the Web3 Bridge community. So this is where we help bridge entrepreneurs from Web2 to Web3. It's a comfortable place to ask any types of questions. We talk about current events. We meet once a week. We have a good time. We have that. So if there is an opportunity, if you want to take a look at joining that community, there'll be a link in the blog post as well, or you can go to jordache.live/magnet. And we can get that. You guys can take a look at that. But that is where we are building an amazing community to help more entrepreneurs understand and wrap their head around all this amazing stuff happening in this Web3 universe, whether it's blockchain, crypto, AR, VR, NFTs, all the buzzwords that you're like, I have no idea what it is. That is the perfect stuff to talk about. So any of those ways, like I said, I'm an open book, so do not hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to answer anything that I can. So
you are
beautiful.
Amazing, a wealth of information. The community is going crazy. Yes, he is brilliant and makes it sound so easy. I'm telling you guys, we at Now Marketing Group are also looking to Jordache and working with him in ways that we can dive into his area of expertise. But amazing. Reach out to him. Jordache is a rock star. I agree. I concur. Jennifer asked as well.
I saw Lisa's comment real quick. I love this. My 76-year-old mother-in-law is trying the metaverse with Supernatural, and she is loving it. So Supernatural, the workout app that's on Oculus. But I'll tell you, it's funny. Like, I actually take this when I'm traveling on the road speaking. I actually take this with me, and that is my cardio workout in my hotel room when I don't have to worry about going to the gym. I'm like, I just need to sweat every day. But this is to start participating in event or in things like this. This is, you just, like I said, just immerse yourself in this stuff slowly but surely, and you're gonna be surprised in 5-6 months how far along and how much you actually know if you just continue to kind of put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. So.
I love
Beautiful.
it. I love it. Love it. I always relate it back to when people were buying cell phones from me way back in the day. And they're like, I'll never use my phone for text or data. Right. I just need it to make phone calls. I'm like, okay.
All right. Okay. Well, you also remember early on in e-commerce, people are like, I'm never going to put my credit card online. It's a wild, wild west. So it's going to get.
Now you don't even carry cards.
We use our phones to pay with stuff now, or our watch, or whatever. Right. So that's where it's like it's just the technology adoption curve, and we see this happen over and over. So Anyways, we could talk about this all day long. So I appreciate
Yes.
We should have you back for sure and dive in even more, guys. But I'm telling you, type the word recap, get the recap of this connection to Jordache. You do want to follow along to what's happening, and this guy is all about it. But I want to hear your stories and maybe how you are entering the metaverse with you, yourself, your clients, whatever. And we want to learn from each other because that's what it's all about. But that's our time for today. So thank you so much, Jordache. Thank you so much, Mike, and all of you for tuning in this week. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Magnet Marketers. Until then, dive in, get virtual, get uncomfortable, as Jordache says, and find out what you learned along the way. All right, guys, have a good week.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Bye-bye.